Welcome. Kicking with Coach K podcast. This is episode 42. I am your host, Coach K. We are today, guys, this is a special episode. We're going to cover the new college football game. So college football 25. A couple weeks ago, we were supposed to do this episode. I had actually ended up getting sick. Our guest today that was supposed to come on actually had an illness in the family as well that he's taking care of. We will reschedule Coach for another time. But again, today we're going to get that episode covered about this college football 25, everything that we kind of know at this point about the game. What we know so far, kind of my initial thoughts, who I'd like to see on the cover of the game, what I'd like to see added to the game, and all those different aspects. This show today is brought to you by Brain Jerk Entertainment, Kennedy Health and Wellness. Welcome to the Brain Jerk era again. Down here at the studio, love these guys. We just opened our office up this past month right here. We're in the Brain Jerk offices, studios. Appreciate these guys for that opportunity. Guys, they've got a bunch of stuff coming up. Make sure you stay tuned on social media for all their events within the community. Also, this week on Thursday, we have another episode of Pillar Talk dropping. Guys, I'm just going to tell you this about Pillar Talk. We've got our next couple months are absolutely incredible. The guests we have from between what I mean by incredible, between the range of different guests we have, meaning they come from all different walks of life, and just really the conversations we're about to have are absolutely awesome. So I can't wait for that. Again, you can catch those episodes dropping on Thursdays. Kennedy Health and Wellness, your one-stop shop, everything wellness from body care and candles. Guys, again, like I just said, we got an office down here. We'll have select inventory. It's actually made up. I just got to bring it up down here. So there's certain things like our new products for the spring that you can come check them out. You can smell certain, if you want to come in and just, not buy something that you don't know if you're going to like it, you can swing down here. Check it out. We'll have certain hours that we're here up at the office for the podcast. So we can just do it anytime around then. Reach out to me to schedule that. And also we have on, Friday, we dropped all of our spring collection, and we have a beard oil and a men's collection dropping on Saturday this week. So that's KennedyHealthWellness.com. Check it out. Yep, fellas, we got to take care of us too. So we got something coming. Guys, I just dropped a little bit of information this past week. We got more coming. Our coaching clinic for 2025 is scheduled. It's planned March 21st and 22nd, 2025 at the Quality Inn and Suites here in Monroe, right off the highway. Great location. We're already locking in sponsors, vendors, speakers, and this gives everybody plenty of time to talk to boosters, ADs, kind of get your finances together to be able to get your schedules together, and all that different stuff to be able to make sure you attend this one. This is going to be a great clinic. I promise you guys that. Our first one was phenomenal, and obviously this one is going to be 2 days worth of knowledge, content, just networking, all that great stuff that goes into coaching clinics. This show is brought to you by Amaya's Fresh Mexican Grill, Little Brown Jug, Lane's Pizzeria, IWR, All Heart Athletics, Monroe County Sports Network, 1817 CrossFit, Big Back Prep, 8 Mile Vodka, Backroad Baggers, Smoker Society, Spooky Films, Nerdy Designs, and Just Drive with Jess. Our quote of the day: a champion is simply someone who didn't give up when they wanted to. That's by Coach Tom Landry, a legend in college football. Only appropriate that we put something, a legend of college football, that we put the quote, a legendary quote from them on this type of episode where we're bringing back such an incredibly iconic game, and we get to talk about that today. Our read of the week: Deion Sanders and Don Yeager, elevate and dominate. So you guys know I'm a Coach Prime guy. Love Coach Prime. And he came out with another book. I've read a couple of these books of his, and they've been absolutely phenomenal. He's really important for our society, our young men, our sport, and his messages are just incredible. So make sure you check it out. All right, guys, let's dive into this show. So here's the deal. My initial thoughts on this game is If you watch the trailer, I think there was a lot of nostalgia, right? The trailer that dropped on, I believe it was February 15th. You felt incredibly. It was an overwhelming feeling of nostalgia and just excitement, right? Can't wait to get the hands on this game again. If you played college football and you love this game, you've been waiting 11 years for this since the Ed O'Bannon and NIL issues. You've been kind of waiting for this to sort itself out over the years. Finally, a handful of years ago, the NIL thing breaks in college sports. Now, all of a sudden, players can get paid for their name, image, and likeness. And now we're looking at a video game back back here in summer 2025. So, super exciting. The kids will get paid for this, obviously, as we just said. Each student athlete that opts in and is eligible will get around $600 and a copy of the game. What EA says they plan on doing is taking the best 85 off of each roster. So with that being said, I know people were kind of like 600 is all they're getting, but you got to remember EA's model is for an equal structure for each student athlete. And so, yes, like the starting quarterback at Alabama or Michigan or Ohio State or Notre Dame or Georgia, yes, that guy can get a lot in NIL, but at the same time, if we have this type of equal package compensation wise, you also have to pay the third running back, the third left tackle, the third DB. So with that being said, the $600 and a copy of the game, really not a bad deal for student athletes. You get enough basically to get your game system and get your game. Maybe with a couple $100 left over to throw in groceries and the gas, whatever. But it's something, right? It's something, and something's better than nothing. Now we have the game back. The kids will have their hands on the game, and they'll get a little bit of money out of it. So I actually, I don't think the 600 is a bad thing. I actually thought, that's going to be what, $6 million in payments from EA to the players just for that. And I think that's a fair number, to be honest with you guys, just in my opinion. The teaser, again, dropped on February 15th. Thought it was genius, in my opinion. Gave us nostalgia, gave us some small peek and samples at things, and solidified that this is really happening. The song that was playing in the background, the positivity that was radiating from the guy that was in the video. Like, it was a great, great video, man. And it was incredible the way they masterfully put that together. I thought it was amazing. The minute I put this in my notes, and I love this, I starred this, but the minute when he flips it from 14 to 25, and he says it's been a minute, that will have any college football fan who has played any of the games in the past, that'll get you in your feels, right? Just, again, the moment when this game drops for some of us is going to be so fulfilling, man. It's going to be so much excitement, so much fun. And, beyond just playing a video game, right, and having fun at home or whatever, like, we've already scheduled at Erie. We're already talking about and have talked about this in our scheduling out game tournaments, right? To come play college football and just take our mind off of things that are serious for a minute. And so just what this is going to do, man, is it's going to be fun for the college football and the football universe. Can't wait. Young student athletes. And just imagine for these players, man, to be able to play now. Again, the game comes out 11 years later. You can get to be yourself on the game. You get a little money for it, just awesome all the way around. Did a great job of getting us excited, but it also, I thought the trailer showed that this game is really going to focus on three things. If we're being real, this game's going to focus on the pageantry of college football. So everything that goes in to make college football fun, right? Michigan running and jumping on the tunnel, the mascots. We saw mascots in the little teaser trailer. We saw the big house in the teaser trailer. The traditions, the big moments in college football. It really looks like College Football 25 is going to really try to capture every single thing that makes college football special as far as that goes. All the traditions at Florida State and each school and Michigan, and all the fight songs and the theme songs that play in the third quarter or at halftime or what have you. That stuff is all going to be super heavily included in the game, which I think for college football fans is extremely exciting. The other thing I think that we've heard a lot is they're going to focus a lot on the gameplay. A lot of people haven't really cared for Madden. and haven't really seen Madden evolve as far as gameplay goes the last handful of years. And I think that's been a big complaint. I think EA heard that. So when I think EA had a chance to come out with another football game and have it be college football is bigger than it's ever been, no matter what they tell you. It is bigger than it's ever been. More people are watching. People are going to games. People are buying gear. People are following all these recruits on Twitter. Like, it is insanely popular. So I think EA found a chance to make this game, knowing after 11 years, knowing because it's college football and college football is peaking and it's getting bigger, knowing all this stuff, I think EA really wants to take advantage of that and make sure they recreate the gameplay so that it's not another Madden. They've mentioned this, right, directly. This is exact words from EA. So to me, the gameplay is something they're really, really going to focus on. And I think that's super important because I think we need a great gameplay experience as college football fans, something that's different from Madden. And when it's different, it can't be worse, right? You can't go backwards. This is EA's chance to recreate themselves a little bit and their reputation. This is a chance for college football to really just be the best football game out there. And I think a lot of that will have to do with the gameplay. And for those who played NCAA 14, the gameplay was insane. I still have NCAA football on Xbox 360. I still have actually a couple of them, different years, and I still actually play them to this day from time to time. And I'm telling you, they are a lot of fun. But the gameplay on 14 was really, really good. And I think they also need to make sure that they understand that, right? And I think EA knows that. They've made that a point. They've talked about that multiple times. The other thing I think that's going to be important is the extra features, right? I think EA is going to have to focus on making sure that the transfer portal, that NIL, that all that stuff that's featured in Dynasty mode or the Heisman mode or all the extra features are going to have to be on point. Sorry, but I think that's super important. I think because a lot of us, when we play college football, we play Dynasty mode. A lot of us, 99% of us love Dynasty mode because what do we want to do? We want to take Toledo or Eastern or, one of these small schools, and we wanted to build them to a dynasty. And then eventually we wanted to kind of try to climb the ladder, maybe go get the big job. That's what I always did, right? I was like, I'm going to take Eastern to a couple of these national titles. Then I'm going to go to U of M. That's what a lot of people have said that they love to do is play the dynasty mode in some form or another. So now with dynasty mode, we know that, and this is actually on the notes later, but we know that NIL and transfer portal is going to be on that. So that has to be so carefully put together because you can either make this really fun with the NIL and transfer portal, or you can make this really, really, you can actually make this. You can go down a bad path with it. Let me just say that. You can make the gameplay experience, not the actual on-field, but you can make the dynasty experience kind of rough if you mess up the NIL and transfer portal details. So I think EA is super, super focused on that, making sure they put that together. Again, with the trailer, just initial thoughts. Thought it was great music, set the vibe, loved it. At the Rose Bowl, sunset. It was awesome. Can't wait. Full reveal coming in May. For those of you who might not know, again, a lot of you who are big into this game know some of this stuff, but can't wait to see that full trailer, that full reveal. So here's what we know so far about the game. And some of this has actually been added. And I actually have a little bit of a source here that I'm going to pull up just for a minute. Give me 1 second, guys. But we've got a couple more things that were just super recent that I'm going to add to this. But here's what we know. All 134 FBS teams are included. Now, some obviously weren't available in NCAA 2014 because of realignment stuff after that. So we're getting a whole handful of new teams that have moved up to FBS in the last 11 years. And all 134 FBS teams are going to be included, which is amazing. I think that's absolutely exciting as can be. You now can play with everybody from James Madison to Michigan. You can play All the teams that were on the game before, and now Coastal Carolina and schools like that have moved up. So I think that's really, really fun. FCS will not be included in the game, although here's a little bit of a nugget. Several FCS teams have posted about being in the game. Yet Matt Brown and some other people, I believe it's Matt Brown, don't quote me on that, because I'm not 100% sure if it was him, but it was somebody that was covering it, said that they don't think FCS teams will be on the game. But weird enough, we have seen at least a couple FCS teams post that, they're in the game. So it's kind of weird. Maybe they come along eventually. Maybe EA is working on an expansion pack, down in the future with FCS teams. That's kind of what I guessed, is there's probably going to be some kind of expansion pack along the way that you can unlock FCS teams and bring them in. Players have already opted in. Most of the players that you would expect to opt in have. I don't recall any big names that haven't opted in. Not everybody's posted about it. But from what I understand, you're probably going to get all your favorite players in this game. They've announced a lot of guys that are big names to us have announced. Will Johnson from University of Michigan has announced. Quinn Ewers down at Texas, Travis Hunter, so many others. This is one thing I think is really cool about the game. I used to love in like NCAA 13 and 14, and used to even laugh at some of it, because some of it used to be kind of funny, but the broadcast, right? And even like, so I have an old college basketball game that I play, and there's like a broadcast team that is on every Sunday on your calendar on that game. They talk, right? And they go over like, hey, this is, number one this week, and they play this team. It's like a little ESPN show. And I used to think that was a super cool feature when I used to play that basketball game. And now even the football game, I think it's super cool that like Kirk Herbstreit is on NCAA football games, right? Calling stuff. So I think that's a cool thing. They're going to feature, we're hearing there's a potential that they might feature multiple broadcasts. So you might see like a Fox or ESPN. But now after kind of hearing who's confirmed to be on the game, it looks like it'll be a little bit maybe more of an ESPN broadcast. Not really sure how that's going to shake out completely, but we do know it'll feature Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, Jesse Palmer, David Pollock, and Kevin Connors. From what I'm hearing is Kirk will be on the game day, and he'll also be an announcer in the games. And there's some things like that, right? Some of the guys will be in studio announcers or analysts, and some guys will be in-game analysts and game day features. But game day will be on the game from what we understand. So that's super exciting. The Senior Bowl has posted about it, that they'll be in. Several equipment companies like I believe it was, I got it right here actually. We have Shut has, and a couple other ones have actually started to say that they're going to be in the game. But that's exciting that we're starting to get like the official uniforms. It won't be just some made up uniforms in the game, right? We're getting everything official helmets. This game is going to be super, extremely detailed. Let's see here. We already talked about this. NIL transfer portal will be in the game. In-season updates for roster and realignment of conferences will be featured. So with all the transfer portal stuff in college football, right, you as a gamer, as somebody who, loves sports games, it could get frustrating fast with this game if they didn't update the rosters, just because of all the movement that happens in college football. This game would get outdated as far as rosters go within just a couple months. So I think being able to have this in-season updates with this game, where you can download the update rosters right there, your quarterback just transferred in, now he's on your team, on your game. I think that's super cool, and that's something that was extremely important. I also think that conference realignment's important. This is going to sound funny, but when I dug out my NCAA football game, I started a dynasty, right? And I went to realign all the conferences to try to realign them how they are today, or as close to it as I could. And what I found is the game has a limit on how many teams you can put in a conference. So the Big Ten limit's like 16. The limit on the game is like 16, right? So the Big Ten now has, 18, 20. Conferences are going to start building up from 18, 20 teams, SEC. So it's going to be one of those things where you need full customization in this new game to make whatever conference is, how many ever teams, move whoever. You kind of need that ability to do that in this new game. So I think that's super awesome. Coaches will not be represented in this game. So we will not see the real coaches in this game. There will be no Sharon Moore. There will be no, Ryan Day. It will be some kind of, obviously AI generated coach on the sideline with some AI generated name or whatever. But coaches are not going to be represented. Service Academy teams will be in this game despite not having NIL. So service academies cannot receive NIL payments as of right now because they are in the military. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the military side, the NCAA side, both. Like, I don't know how that works, but they cannot receive NIL payments right now from what I understand, but they will be in the game. So they, from what I'm guessing, maybe they just won't get their 600. Maybe they get their game. Maybe they don't get any of it. I don't really know how any of that works. But they will be in the game, which is super cool because it's fun to play with those teams sometimes, and it's fun to honestly play against those teams sometimes. And they just, having that Army Navy game and being able to play that on College Football 25 is super cool. So again, EA is looking to make this completely its own model and not copy Madden. That's something they've been adamant about. We talked about that earlier, but they want this to be completely separate from Madden. They want this to be its own game, own entity. Don't compare us. We are kind of redoing the way we build football games with this one, and judge us on College Football 25. So I think that's something just worthy of noting. Dynasty, Road to Glory, all of our favorites are back from what we've heard. The college football will also be in the game. And what I have heard is the college football will be customized, will be able to be customizable. So I don't know if that means you can have a 12 team, a 24, a 36 team playoff. I don't know if that means you can have a 4 team. I don't know what they're going to put on the range. But from what we understand, that you're going to be able to customize how many teams and potentially, I guess, maybe even the playoff format, how that works. So I think that's super cool. Couple things I'd like to see in the game. I just improved gameplay, and I'd like to see it keep it realistic as college football today. Keep giving us options to evolve the game as college football changes. And it looks like they're doing all this. I talked about some of this already, so I don't want to keep beating on it, but I just want to see us be able to move this game with the times, right? So when people transfer, I want us to be able to have an answer for that for the game. When NIL, I want us to have some kind of fluent just way to do NIL in the game that doesn't ruin the experience. I just want us to make sure the game stays with the times. Whatever changes, let's update, let's adapt with College Football 26 if needed or whatever, but let's make sure we're just always giving us college football fans the chance to evolve with the game as the sport evolves. And eventually I'd like to see FCS schools. I think a lot of us love the FBS and would love, I think that's awesome. But I think there's a handful of us who would like to do the FCS thing, do the FCS playoff, go through an FCS schedule, play with those teams, start a dynasty at an FCS school and build your way up to small FBS and so on. Like, that is still something that I find super intriguing. So let's get them FCS schools in there. As far as the cover goes, so cover prospects. This is something that I've heard a lot of people talk about and put their opinions out. And I've seen about 2 million posts shared about who and what the cover should be in the intro to the game and all this other stuff. There's only one person I think that should go on the cover, and it's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own. But Shedeur Sanders should be the cover guy. So hear me out. A lot of people are saying like JJ McCarthy or this guy or this guy. If they're not in college football right now, so if they're getting ready for the draft, about to get drafted in April in Detroit, if they're already starting to move to the NFL or they're already there, I don't think they should be on the cover of college football this time. I think right now for College Football 25, when it's coming back after 11 years, it needs to be somebody iconic right now to college football. Now, with that being said, to me, the guy who is one of the most polarizing faces in college football. He's got a big arm. He's a great quarterback. He's the guy to me that should be the cover guy. Obviously, Coach Prime brings a lot of attention to Colorado, and Shedeur brings a lot of attention with how he is and who he is. But I'm telling you, to me, that makes the most sense. A current guy that's an absolute baller, that's going to have a great season, that's coming up on his senior year. I think that's the one. Or my other thing is, if you wanted to go another route with kind of the Nick Saban thing, Nick Saban being on the cover wouldn't disappoint me. Giving it to somebody who was the greatest coach to do this, and he just retired, and the new game's about to come out, and kind of given that, that to me would make the most sense. What I would love to see is just do Shedeur Sanders on the normal game, and then do like a legacy edition and do it with Nick Saban on the cover. I think that would be super cool. And to me, and maybe you do a mode where you can like play some of Nick Saban's biggest moments at Alabama or something like that. Like that would be super awesome to me. I do kind of, to piggyback off of and kind of go back for just a hot second, but something that I would like to see, excuse me, 2K did something years ago where you could play with Jordan in the flu game. And you could play all these classic games. I would like to see College Football 25 do that, where you could play with Charles Woodson against Ohio State in the game, where you could play with all these people in these big moments. That would be fun to be able to have that mode created. But a legendary edition of College Football 25 with Nick Saban, maybe be able to go through his greatest moments, him on the cover, I think that's a good move. I think that's pretty cool. The 99 club is something a lot of people are talking about. Who will be in the 99 club, the 95 overall club? I don't know. I just hope that's something that they update based on performance throughout the season when the season's here. And then, I just hope it's something that's, pretty fair, put together well. I hope it's not too easy with a bunch of 99s, and I hope it's not too rough with, one guy on the game that's a 99. I hope that it's pretty fair. I don't know exactly who I think would be in that club. I think, to me, some of the, Will Johnson probably is in that club potentially. Some of those guys maybe. I don't think a guy like, maybe Downs, the safety, at Ohio State now is probably close to that 95, 90, 99, somewhere in between there. But I don't really put a lot of stock into that. I just hope it's all put together super fair. Some finishing thoughts on the game. Again, full reveal in May. Game expected this summer. We don't know if it's going to be June or July. We're not 100% sure yet. We're hearing different things. I probably think it's going to be in July as they just kind of finish this up, and they haven't really put it out there yet. If it was in June, I think they may have kind of teased it or dropped it already. So I think they're probably aiming more for that summer release, that kind of July release. We are getting more news every day. Guys, couple pages that I want you guys to check out if you're interested in stuff like this. EA College Football 25 has an official page on Facebook and Instagram. But then there's this page that I've actually had sitting here, this podcast, Bring NCAA Back. And he's got all kinds of stuff on here that he goes and finds from different sources, about just things like right now, this pulling up microtransactions will be kept at a minimum when it comes to NIL in the video game. Uniforms are going to be a thing where there's lots of uniform combos. He's the one who posted about, the playbooks will be specific to each team instead of kind of a generic playbook like most football games kind of have. So I think all that stuff is super cool. And those are two great places for information, is that EA College Football 25 page, and then Bring NCAA Back. It's spelled out just how it is. Bring NCAA Back on Instagram. Again, that's a lot of information that he's got going on there daily on his story and on his page. And he's got about 50,000 followers. So, I mean, it's he's building a following here. People are excited for this game. And again, This is something that if you're a college football fan, if you grew up watching college football, playing this game because you love the sport, you are absolutely just you can't take how excited you are right now. I've been, my wife, I've been driving her nuts because ever since I saw the teaser trailer, I've been like, I cannot wait until June, July. Is 7-on-7 time. We're starting to get warmed up for football. We're starting to have the mindset of August, and getting closer to the pads and all that stuff. We're hitting that time, and the game's gonna drop, and it's just, man, it's gonna be a hell of a fun few months and a hell of a great summer. I can't wait. This game just adds to the excitement. And again, I'm excited. Only going to be out on the next generation consoles, so the Xbox X and Xbox S, and then the PlayStation 5. So if you got the PlayStation 4, or the Xbox One, you're gonna have to upgrade the system. But again, just super excited for that, guys. Before we get out of here, we've got a couple things that we need to talk about, just to give some love to some people in our community. All right, we have our athletes of the week, student athletes of the week here in Monroe County. Listen, this first one, we're just gonna give a shout out to Dundee Wrestling. I've not seen a more dominant sports program in our community. I don't know if ever. Now, I'm young, so maybe there was a stretch run where some basketball program or something, but this Dundee Wrestling has been good my entire life. And they had an incredible showing at states. So Dundee Wrestling, several guys that I want to give shout out to. Cameron Shinovar, third straight Division III state title. Blake Cosby, 7-0 win in the D3 state final. Cole, I believe it's Cole Catcher. He's a repeat state champion. Mason Catcher, state champion with an 11-2 win in the finals. Cade Clusie, I believe is how you say it. Sorry if I'm butchering these names, gentlemen, if you tune in. 4 state championships. And Trey Parker, state final champion. They had several people win state titles and win them for the third, second, fourth time. I mean, they are dominant in that sport, and it's incredible. Shout out to the Dundee Wrestling team and those individuals. Zoe Stubleski, Erie Mason girls basketball, 14 and 11 points, and she extends her double-digit scoring streak now to 4. Again, I'm always impressed when you can do something that's hard to do in your sport or at your school or in your scenario, in your environment, whatever it may be. For you to win that high of a level at all these state champions and have that many wrestlers represent, and then for you, for you to go out and continue to score double digits is extremely impressive. Honorable mentions. We do want to give a couple honorable mentions out tonight. Drew Vuich, SMCC basketball. He had 41 in districts, 41 points in a district game versus Blissfield. That's incredible. I don't know. This is kind of why Zoe Stubleski impresses me too with the double-digit scoring streak. I don't know if you guys know, but it's hard to score points in high school basketball. These are not Division I college athletes for the most part. It's hard to score 41 points or score double digits that many times. So it's super impressive. Again, Drew Vuich, SMCC basketball, 41 points in districts. Angelina Pena, Milan Wrestling. She won her 4th straight state title in wrestling. Extremely impressive. And then another honorable mention, Sophia Bussell, Monroe High School girls basketball, 26 and 25 points in her last 2 games. We had her older sister on the show. For those of you who might remember, shout out. She goes and plays ball at Oakland now. Shout out to Oakland basketball. That's a family of ballers right there. They do their thing on the basketball court. It's impressive. Shout out to everybody in our community. I'm not going to lie to y'all. So, did they really? So, I did not know this. Shout out. Listen, we've got to give some love for that. We'll give this one out as another student athletes of the week. The airport cheer team off at States got 2nd place at States. That's incredible. We've had a huge week in sports for our student athletes between basketball, cheer, swim, bowling. It is wrestling. It has been insane. When I was doing research, I take research from just a couple different sources and try to find who, for our show we feel is going to be our student athlete of the week and our honorable mentions and whatnot. But when I did my research, I found it was extremely hard this week to pick. It was like, whoa, everybody went to work this week in Monroe County. Swimmers were winning titles. Wrestlers were winning titles from other schools as well. There was basketball players all over that were balling. The kid from Flat Rock was doing his thing. There was just so much this week it really showed how our community here is. The student athletes really are special, right? And we just got to keep doing a great job at coaching them, at teaching them, leading them, and then again at making sure we make sure that universities, colleges, that the world knows, what we're doing here and what these kids are capable of, especially those who want to move on to the next level, right? So again, awesome to see this. That was incredible. On this day, 1950, the National American Football League reverts to calling itself the NFL after 3 months. So that kind of stuck, obviously, at that point in 1950. They turned back to going to the NFL. As we know it today, it's still the NFL. That's a big decision and a big point in history that happened, and that, we carried that same name for our National Football League today. Guys, appreciate you guys tuning in. Listen, if you have any thoughts on the game, want to discuss any of this, again, bring NCAA back, and EA College Football 25 is where you can find a lot of information. But if you just want to have a conversation with me, who do you want to start a dynasty with? Who's the team you're most excited to start a dynasty with? Look, hit me up, comment on this podcast, comment on my page, whatever. Let's talk about it. I'm excited for the game. I know me and a handful of coaches and friends have already been talking about, can't wait to play you. Can't wait to play you, man. Can't wait to hook the game up and bring it up here for the kids and have a tournament. Excited. Make sure you reach out. Let's talk about it. Next week, guys, on March 10th, we have Coach Hampton from Monroe High School girls basketball. She's coming in studio for a sit down. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff as it pertains to our community, as it pertains to girls basketball today. Different things in society, coaching kids, all the different aspects. We're going to have some topics on hand to talk about. Also get to hear a little bit about her story. Should be a great episode. Looking forward to it. You can find Kennedy Health and Wellness at kennedyhealthandwellness.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to you guys for helping us reach our first 1,000 people in our group. For those of you who don't know, Kennedy Health and Wellness has a business page and a group. The business page is exactly what it is. The group is a little bit more exclusive. We post some different sales and deals and post some different products there first. And it's become something that's really cool. It's just kind of a really cool little family environment in there. And it's been awesome. We got about 1,000 people, or we have just over 1,000 people in there now. So appreciate you guys for helping us hit that 1,000 mark. We still have our spring sales and our 1,000 group member sales going on right now. Make sure you check out the website. You can find Brain Jerk Entertainment on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or X. If you guys want to watch Pillar Talk, if you want to watch Kicking It with Coach K podcast, or you want to catch up with anything these guys got going on, and really anybody within our community circle that's on their page, make sure you check it out. Kicking It with Coach K, you can find that at exactly what it is, Kicking It with Coach K on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys. See you next Sunday.